What's good, YouTube? This your man Spill Dog. I just got through looking. I think who was this? Jose Valenzuela or somebody Tank finna fight on November the 2nd. And then I ain't gonna say constantly, but I would say consistently, I get people that come into my in the comment section and want to holler about Tank ain't fight nobody. Tank fighting ain't fought no top fighters. That's a bunch of that's BS. Tank has fought outside of Devin Haney, Shakur, and Lomachenko. He done fought all the rest of the top guys at 130 and 135 and Gary Russell. But he done fought plenty of good guys. Leo Santa Cruz, um, and Pedraza, the boy Garcia, Ryan. Well, he fought two different Hector Garcia, Ryan Garcia. These is high level fighters. Even Frank Martin is to me is definitely a solid B level fighter. You know, Tank has fought the fights he's supposed to been fighting. Like right now, Shakur don't have a fight. Do you see him knocking down the door trying to get a fight? No, you do not. Devin is moving up and up. Devin is basically a welterweight, and Tank is really a lightweight. 130 to 135 pounds is the right division for him to be fighting at with his size and his arm length. He got short arms, and he's a very short man. Now he's compact and kind of chunky, like Canelo to some degree, the way he built, but he got that athleticism and that explosiveness and his punches that kind of make him like a mini Mike Tyson to some degree with the power when he sets you up for certain shots. And in my mind, Tank is the pound for pound best fighter out here now. Like Valenzuela, whatever this dude is. When you fighting 3-4 times a year, or at least 3 times a year, you can take two easy. You can take two fights like this when you go and give up a big one. This is my problem right now with Earl Spence. It's a couple of guys that's good fighters that's not being active. I'm saying Spence right now because as we talk, I'm getting a little older. I can't remember every single thing right here at that second while I'm making this video. But it's a lot of the Keith Thurman. It's a lot of high caliber fighters that will not fight more than once every year and a half now. And you can look at the decline in the way they look when they get in the ring. Even Terrence Crawford in his last fight, after being out the ring just a little bit over a year, in the beginning rounds, he looked rusty, if you ask my opinion. Now, I felt like he clearly outboxed that guy, but I could clearly see the ring rust too. Really, with that makes you hesitant and stuff like that when you would have just ordinarily, let certain shots go or did certain movements that come from inactivity. The Charlo brothers, inactive. It's a lot of these high level fighters that now that they done got to where they making real money, they more concerned with hanging out with women and partying and they doing some family stuff, but most of them is out just more so enjoying their money and gonna fight when they feel like their bank account that got a little lower than they done got comfortable with. That's how it feel to me, because you can't tell me that you trying to be the best still when you won't even fight once a year. And I'm not speaking on no particular fighter. I'm talking about all the fighters that's doing this kind of stuff. Deontay Wilder, all the guys who start getting rich and once they got rich, who lost their dedication and start worrying about fashion and being around celebrities and partying and hanging out with rappers and all that stuff. Adrian Broner, their careers start declining. Roy Jones Jr. But I've seen this story over and over again. Dudes get to that money, get that publicity out. And next thing you know, they hanging out with these rappers and all this stuff, and the career starts going in the wrong direction. What was that? When Roy Jones was talking about, he said I got so many hoes in the bed, giving them head, all the stuff. That was, Roy Jones was trying to rap back in that day too, when he was the hottest thing out there since sliced bread. And once he got extra cocky, next thing you know, here come Tarver. And like I say, Roy Jones Jr. might be, Floyd is my favorite fighter, but I felt like the eras that I was uh, watching it competently, watching boxing and trying to box myself, pound for pound, I don't see nobody at when Roy was in his prime, outside of Sugar Ray Robinson, who I didn't get to watch through his career. Wasn't nobody in there getting busy like Roy. Not only was Roy a master boxer at that time, like Floyd, and Floyd was getting busy too before he broke his hand, but Roy Jones was knocking you out. And I mean, not the soft way. Roy was getting with your glamour. That man had a left hook so fast and hard. Roy was a monster in that ring. But once he started getting cocky and playing basketball before the fights and all that, fighting bums, because he had made a 10-fight deal with HBO, 10 fights, $100 million deal, 10 million a fight, regardless to who he fought. So he brought in a lot of dudes, firemen, police officers, all kind of stuff. But to his defense, when Roy brought a lesser man in that ring, he treated him like that's what he was, and got him up out of there. And right now, Tank just fought Frank Martin in June. He already got a fight scheduled for November. These the guys that I rock with. I mean, because that lets you know that Tank is one. He taking this thing real serious, and he gonna be able to accomplish his goals and get out of there at a young enough age if he continue at this pace. Cause Tank is one of the few guys that's at that high level making real money that didn't stop fighting. Keith Thurman, as soon as he really got popular, he stopped fighting, went out there, fell in love. Him and Keith Thurman and Earl Spence really should be best friends. Because if you watch Keith Thurman, hell, if I ain't know no better, I think Earl Spence was copying off him. Who was that Keith who he beat? I forgot who he beat to get the welterweight title to begin with. Then he had to fight with Sean Porter and Danny Garcia. And when he won both of them fights, that's when his head went to the moon. Went to the moon. And that's when he started falling in love with traveling. He was drinking, hanging out, and next thing you know, he wouldn't fight but once. You might get lucky and get one fight a year out of him, and it just got worse and worse. Now we almost to 2.5 years now since he been in the ring. But he get out here when you catch him talking about he still got goals. I can't tell how long you spent on boxing, but you know what, the way him and Earl fight, I guess they could be in their 40s boxing, cause they won't fight more than once every 2 years, and it seemed like everything Keith did, Earl did to some degree. Earl got the belts like Keith did. Earl started fighting once a year like Keith did. Fought. Keith fought Sean and Danny. Earl fought Sean and Danny. Keith went out there and fell in love and got married. I don't know if Earl gonna get married, but he most definitely went out there and fell in love. And next thing you know, Keith started talking about boxing ain't the most important thing. He been doing this for a long time. It's about his family. Earl Spence, I mean, everything Keith did, I watched Earl Spence do the same thing right behind him. Keith started having all these accidents and injuries. Earl started having all these accidents and injuries. They careers mirror each other, and the only one out of these top guys from that era, well, Tank is a little bit behind them, but Earl won't fight that much no more. Danny don't fight that much no more. Crawford don't fight that much no more. I'm talking about the guys that's at the top in them divisions. They ain't having more than one fight a year. Crawford he'll do a little bit better than Earl and Danny and Keith and all them, but these guys got rich, and boxing is a part-time thing for them now. And You're not gonna be optimum. That's why I wouldn't want to see Terrence Crawford fight Canelo right now. Now if he was in the ring having 2, 3 fights a year still, yeah. But you don't need to, you ain't, them couple of rounds these guys be needing because they stay out the ring so much. You might not be able to recover from a couple of rounds with somebody punching and as good a fighter as Canelo is. I think Crawford is a damn good fighter, but I also think he getting older, and these guys go through. It takes so much to get these dudes in the ring. I mean, now, like I say, Crawford does do better than them guys from the PBC. I give him that. But even Boots done fell off into that stuff. Last year, he only fought, I think, once in over a year. I mean, once these guys start making money, they do the opposite of what Ali and all of them did. Tyson and Floyd, when he was young, these guys was fighting 2 or 3 fights a year. And they didn't just do it until they got the belts. A lot of good ones continued on after they got the belt. All these guys, Keith Thurman, Earl Spence, Charlo, Canelo, now he doing it now. Most of the guys from 154 to 140, they got a belt. Once they get that belt, and don't mess around, let them have a pay-per-view fight. Man, you would damn near have to have a president uh, create another law to get them dudes to fight more than a fight every year, year and a half now. They ain't gonna do it. And Tank staying in that ring, staying busy. That way ain't nobody gonna sneak up on him. That's why I was saying Shakur and them, I think Shakur is the second best in that division, but ain't nobody beating Tank, I don't think, at 135 right now because he's locked in. If you can look at him, he's locked in. He's staying in shape. He's keep making fights. He's not getting in trouble no more, going to jail and going through all that stuff with the women. That was that was I thought was gonna be his downfall. Him and them women, like getting into it and not being able to control his emotions in that situation. But it looked like he's grounded now, and I think ability to box and punch and think is to me second to none in the sport right now. When you watch Tank fights, Tank think his way through them fights all the way through, and he fights. It's almost like he sectioned the fight off how he fight certain ways for 3 rounds, then three. Man, what Tank and Calvin I'm doing in there is it ain't just his ability, the fight plans and everything. I mean, when you got a fighter that good and got a trainer, got trainers that's on that level where they are real good professional trainers, and Tank come from Baltimore, he come from the inner city, come from hard upbringing, so he already hard, he ain't soft, he ain't, he already got that it in him, you dig? And with the way a lot of these other guys moving now, Tank is gonna always be a step on top of him because he stay ready, he stay busy, he stay in the ring. And I don't. If you fight 2, 3 fights a year, you got a right to have. If you fight twice a year, you can fight a top guy then take an easy fight. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't There's something wrong with it when that's all you fighting. You can only fight. You fight what's out there. Tank is the top dog right now, so it's up to him. He didn't tell Devin to run off to 140. Devin could have stayed down there and kept his weight. Well, then maybe he couldn't, but a lot of these guys, Tiafimo, Tank didn't tell him to run up there to 140. Maybe some of these guys left 135 so they didn't have to fight Tank. Just that's what people don't think about. Talking about who he ain't fought. It ain't his fight. It ain't his fault. Shit. Tank the top dog. Some of these guys get out of divisions. That been going on since boxing started. When certain guys enter a division and these guys can move up or down, they move. A lot of times they're gonna move up to, and that way they can have a legitimate reason for not fighting the guy. But and then people say Tank wouldn't have beat Ryan if he didn't weight train him. He didn't weight train Ryan. I'm gonna tell you what he did. He made sure he didn't do what Devin been doing to dudes coming in that ring at 150 pounds, 155, 25, 20, 25 pounds over the weight and make it an uneven fight. All Tank saying is we gonna fight on an even playing field, or we ain't gonna fight. He the top dog. He's 135 pounds. That's what we fighting at. And I would put up 10-pound claws in there too. I ain't gonna lie. 10, 15 pounds. That's why the IBF, in the IBF, you can only go up 10 pounds unless they changed it from the weigh in to the fight. Because I tell people all the time, and I think he only had like a 20-pound weight advantage. Go look at that fight between Arturo Gotti and Joey Gamache and see how bad he got hurt in there, with a guy blowing up after the weigh-in and being crazy big in there. So when they keep talking about all these other dudes, pound for pound, I think Tank is the one on top right now. Yeah, Crawford is a great fighter, but Crawford don't fight that much. He don't. I mean, once a year, and you know, I mean, it is what it is. I like Bud, but I think what Tank doing is just as impressive. He done had the belt at 130, 135, 140. He a three-division champion. I think Bud had it at 135, 140, 147, and now 154. He a four-division. So I mean, but I would say you gotta still get a pound for pound of Tank, because look at the money he draw, look at the fans he draw, look at what he do in the ring. Yeah, Bud knocking dudes out, but so is Tank. Tank done knocked out everybody he fought except two dudes, I think. Go look at his knockout ratio. So for me, right now, Tank is the best thing out there since sliced bread. In a 135-pound division, he not gonna lose to none of these dudes. And if you ask me, I feel like Canelo, Bud, all of them had their time to be pound for pound. I think it's Tank Davis. I think it's time for him to be considered pound for pound the best fighter in boxing. But that's it for me on this video. If you like the video, like and subscribe. Till the next time, it's your boy Spill Dog. I'm out.